This is a Young Touch hair care presentation.
Checking the scalp and hair. Checking the scalp and hair strands is beneficial to the individual who wants to obtain more information or to have a more in-depth study about their scalp and hair. Depending on the hair care goal, individuals may study their scalp and hair, checking for certain criteria. Checking the health and overall condition of the scalp and hair, the look, feel, strength, and growth measurements are often taken into consideration. Furthermore, checking the scalp and hair strands is also beneficial for learning how to properly cleanse, moisturize, condition, detangle and style without compromising the integrity of the scalp and hair strands. To begin, let's start with understanding the things that have an effect on both the scalp and hair. How the individual takes care of the scalp and hair. A chemical or any other product used on the scalp or hair product. Body changes, hormonal changes, or aging. Reoccurring damage to the scalp and hair. Scalp or hair changes over time. Next, there's the difference in scalp and hair choices. To wear and style the hair naturally. To use chemicals. To use harsh or non-harsh products. Checking the scalp. The scalp is skin on top of the head that needs to be treated similar to facial skin. When something is applied to the scalp, whether it is a chemical or any other hair product, it has an effect on the scalp and epidermis. The scalp can become dry, dull, and fragile due to body or hormonal changes. The scalp can also change over time due to aging. Changes to the scalp can either cause the scalp to become less able to cope with the wear and tear of everyday styling and manipulation. On the other hand, a scalp that is healthy and well taken care of will be pliable and able to recuperate from the wears and tears of frequent product use or styling. Checking the hair. Hair strands grow out of the scalp and are similar to small thread-like fibers. Once hair has grown out of the scalp, it has no life of its own, no nerve endings, and no way to repair itself. Hair strands can become dry, dull, and fragile due to product use and improper hair care practices, or other changes over time. Changes to the hair can cause the hair to become less able to style, because of damage or other occurrences. On the other hand, hair that is healthy and well taken care of will be flexible, and able to recuperate from the wears and tears of frequent product use or styling. Checking oil levels or amounts. Oil is a substance of oily consistency. In hair care terms, oil that the scalp naturally creates is called sebum. Oil levels or oil amounts can refer to the amount of oils that are created naturally from the scalp, or oils that are applied to the scalp or hair via a product. Oil or sebum that is created naturally from the scalp will vary with each individual. For instance, some individuals have scalps that naturally create too much oil/sebum, while others have scalps that do not naturally produce enough oil, which causes the scalp to become dry. To check oil level amounts, it's important to check the scalp and hair strands for natural oil levels. If you can figure out how much oil your scalp is creating and keeping, it will be easier to adjust how much oil needs to be applied or not applied. Checking porosity. Porosity refers to how well the hair absorbs and retains liquids or chemicals. Since the level of porosity is directly related to the condition of the cuticle layer, porosity mostly focuses on hair strands. How much moisture the hair receives and absorbs will affect the way the hair feels, reacts, and can often affect the way the hair looks and grows. Furthermore, your porosity level is one of the determining factors in how much liquids, chemicals, color, oil, or moisture your hair strands will absorb and retain. The amount of moisture the hair retains can range from non-porous. Non-porous hair can be a challenge because products will often sit on top of the hair and will not penetrate or absorb. Medium. Absorbs and retains the perfect amount of moisture. Porous hair. The more porous the hair, the easier it will be to absorb products and chemicals. Checking curl or wave patterns. Curl or wave patterns refer to the shape of the hair strand. Hair grows from out of the follicle and extends outward, depending on the length, to create different shapes and patterns. When hair strands grow out, the shapes they form can either be kinky, curly, straight, or wavy shapes. Curl or wave patterns may vary from strand to strand on the same person's head, and may change when hair strands have been chemically treated or damaged by heat. Hair strands with no chemicals added or no signs of heat damage will form one of these natural curl or wave patterns listed. Straight hair strands. A straight line-like pattern. Wavy hair strands. An S or wavy-like pattern. Curly hair strands. Loose to tight, springy corkscrew curls. Kinky strands. Small, tight kinks, coils or zigzags patterns. Checking textures. Texture refers to the coarseness or fineness of the hair fiber or strand. Texture can also be described as the thickness or diameter of the individual hair strand. Textures may vary from strand to strand on the same person's head. The texture of hair strands can change when hair is chemically treated, damaged, or exposed to heat. The texture of hair strands can also change when the hair has been pulled too tightly or overstretched. Furthermore, the natural changes in texture may happen with hormonal changes and aging. To check textures, check the hair strands for diameters ranging from thick, medium to fine. Thick. Wide in diameter and often feels coarse. Medium. Medium in diameter and often feels like cotton. Fine. Small in diameter and often feels soft. Checking the density. The density of the hair is judged by the number of active hair follicles per square inch on the scalp. In other words, density measures the number of individual hair strands or indicates how many hairs per square inch there are on a person's head. Some individuals experience more hair strands that grow in the front on the head, while the back doesn't grow as full as the front or vice versa. Also, if more hair is falling out and not growing back fast enough, it will create the appearance of a thinner head of hair. To check the density, check the scalp and hair strands for low, medium, or heavy density ranges. Low. Less growing / active hair follicles. Medium. A medium amount of growing / active hair follicles. Heavy. A lot of growing / active hair follicles. Checking the elasticity. Elasticity is all about the hair and its ability to stretch and return to its original shape or length without breaking. Much like a rubber band, hair strands can stretch back and forth when gently pulled. So, when hair strands are pulled or stretched, depending on the elasticity, the hair will either return back or break. Additional words to describe the elasticity of the hair strands are resiliency, pliability, buoyancy, and springiness. To check the elasticity, examine the hair strands for high/strong or low/weak elasticity. If the hair stretches and returns easily to its original length, without breaking, it has a normal elasticity. If the hair breaks easily or fails to return to its original length, it has low elasticity. Checking hair lengths. Measuring hair lengths will not only give you an idea of how much hair is growing, but also how much hair is shedding or falling. Hair lengths refer to the length, inches or centimeters, or measurement of the hair strands. The length of the hair will vary with each individual, as hair usually grows ½ an inch a month. However, heredity, scalp and hair conditions, and hair care practices can possibly determine how quickly or slowly your hair grows. Heredity, scalp or hair conditions, and hair care practices can also possibly determine how much hair you are losing or that is falling. For longer hair lengths, it's important to retain, or keep, the length as the hair grows. There will be times when the ends of the hair will need to be clipped, and how much is cut will depend on the individual. Furthermore, keeping the scalp and hair healthy is one of the most important ways to protect the hair that is growing, and reduce the amount of hair that sheds, breaks or falls. Taking notes. Checking the scalp and hair can give you an in-depth look at the creation and development of your scalp and hair. When you understand how your scalp and hair is behaving, you will have more options for properly caring for your scalp or hair. Although checking the scalp and hair is great, taking notes when checking the scalp or hair is greater. Your scalp and hair may differ or change at certain times of the year and after certain hair care practices. Therefore, keeping up with your goals and writing about your hair care experiences, or even making a video, can help you remember what's going on with your scalp and hair. There is no right or wrong way to take notes, but the better your notes, the easier it will be for you to figure out what works and what doesn't. With your hair care notes, you can further examine your achievements, mistakes, and possibly create better hair care results or outcomes. Furthermore, when studying your scalp and hair, use the type of lists or notes that you are most comfortable with. Checking the scalp and hair. Taking notes.